Welcome, Math Masters! A new scroll has arrived at the dojo gates. Inside is a challenge designed to strengthen your mind and elevate your math skills. Today, you'll begin training to earn the Fraction and Decimal Connection Badge. Convert 11/25ths, 25/50ths, and 10 4/5ths to decimals. How do you know the fractions and decimals represent the same value? Study well. The path to mastery begins now.
Hey there, Math Masters! Are you ready for your first challenge of Unit 4? I have a feeling we'll need our knowledge of decimal place value to conquer it. Have your guided notes ready. Training starts now. Let's warm up our brains with a mindfulness exercise. We know fractions and decimals both show parts of a whole. Fractions use numerators and denominators, and decimals use a decimal point. We can represent them with digits, words, or visual models, where we shade in the equal parts of the whole. Picture these fractions and decimals as visual models in your mind. Pause to represent each fraction and decimal with a visual model in your guided notes. Did you notice any pairs that represent the same value? Yeah, this fraction and this decimal both have 4 parts shaded out of 10. They both represent 4/10ths. But how can we figure out if a fraction and a decimal represent the same value without visual models? Exactly, Mia! By converting fractions to decimals. Remember, if a fraction's denominator is 10 or 100, it's already showing tenths or hundredths of a whole, just like our decimal place values. When this is the case, converting is simple. We just say the fraction out loud and record it in decimal form, like this. 7/10ths, the fraction, converts to 0, decimal point, and a 7 in the tenths place. That's 7/10ths, the decimal. What about 46 out of 100? It converts to 46/100ths with a 0, decimal point, 46. Pause here to convert a few more fractions with denominators of 10 or 100 to decimals. We can check if we converted correctly by reading the decimals out loud. 2/10ths, 6/100ths, and 80/100ths. Do those match the way we read the fractions? Yes! So, we know the fractions and decimals represent the same values. Mia says 80/100ths is also 8/10ths. Why is that? Remember, adding a 0 after the decimal point doesn't change a decimal's value. 80/100ths and 8/10ths are equal because 80/100ths is equivalent to 8/10ths. Great job with those conversions! I think we're ready for more. What if the denominator isn't 10 or 100? We know our decimal place values are tenths and hundredths. So, how do we change a fraction like 2/5 into a fraction out of tenths or hundredths? Oh! a power-up technique. When converting fractions to decimals, first use multiplication to find an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 10 or 100. Oh, of course! What can we multiply the numerator and denominator in 2/5 by to get an equivalent fraction in tenths? By 2. 5 times 2 equals 10, and 2 times 2 is 4, so that's 4 tenths. Then we can represent it in decimal form. 0 decimal point 4. What about this fraction? There isn't a number we can multiply 25 by to get a denominator of 10, so we'll need to find a denominator of 100. Pause here to finish converting 8/25, 12/50, and 3/5 to decimals in your guided notes. Remember to find the equivalent fractions first, then record your answers with a decimal point. Let's check. To convert 8/25, we multiply the numerator and denominator by 4. 25 times 4 is 100, and 8 times 4 is 32. That's 32 hundredths, the fraction, and 0 decimal point 32 as a decimal. 12/50 is equivalent to 24 hundredths, so the decimal is 24 hundredths too. And 3/5 can be converted to 6 out of 10, or 6 tenths, with a decimal point to the left of the digit 6. Impressive work! Your fraction to decimal conversion skills are almost challenge ready. There's just one more move we need to master first. What if we mixed things up and converted fractions greater than ones we've worked with so far? Any guesses on what kind of conversion that would be? Mixed numbers to decimals. That's it. Converting mixed numbers to decimals is just like converting proper fractions with 2 extra steps. Check it out. 1 3/5. First, we record the whole number. That's 1. Next, we convert the proper fraction to a decimal. We already know 3/5 is 6 tenths, or 0 decimal point 6. But do we need that placeholder 0 in front? We don't. Why is that? Think about place value. In 6 tenths, the placeholder 0 is just holding the ones place. Since we already have a whole number, we replace that 0 with the digit 1. That gives us 1 decimal point 6, or 1 6/10, just like the mixed number sounds when we say it. Try one more in your guided notes. Pause here to convert 15 2/50 to a decimal. Notice how 15 has a digit in the ones and tens places. So we write a 1 in the tens place and a 5 in the ones place. Then we convert 2/50 to 4 hundredths and record the rest of the decimal. A decimal point, a 0 in the tenths place, and a 4 in the hundredths place. Well done, Math Masters! You converted those fractions with excellent form and great power. Your challenge still awaits. Complete it, and the fraction and decimal connections badge is yours. Convert 11/25, 25/50, and 10 4/5 to decimals. How do you know the fractions and decimals represent the same value? Pause here to complete the challenge in your guided notes. To convert 11/25, we multiply by 4 to get our equivalent fraction. Then represent 44 hundredths in decimal form. 0 decimal point 44. Next, we check 25 fiftieths. It's equivalent to 50 hundredths. So we record 0 decimal point 50, or 5 tenths, since the extra placeholder 0 doesn't change the value. With a mixed number, remember, the whole number stays the same. We record 10, find an equivalent fraction of 8 tenths, convert to a decimal, and write the rest of the digits by place value. Now, how do we know the fractions and decimals represent the same values? We multiplied to find equivalent fractions with denominators of 10 or 100, then used those fractions to record each digit by place value with a decimal point. We can also check by saying the decimals aloud. 44 hundredths, 50 hundredths, 10 and 8 tenths. It matches how we say the equivalent fractions. Way to go, problem solvers! So, what have we learned today? We learned that fractions and decimals both represent parts of a whole in different ways. Finding equivalent fractions with denominators of 10 or 100 helps us represent fractions as decimals, and to convert a mixed number to a decimal, we record the whole number first, convert the fraction part to a decimal, and record the digits by place value with a decimal point. Well done! You've mastered this challenge and the art of converting fractions to decimals. Your work has earned you the Fraction and Decimal Connections badge. But wait, there's more. Be sure to complete the practice questions and extension activities that go with this lesson to practice converting fractions to decimals. Once you've completed all the lessons for this unit and earned all the badges, you'll earn your blue belt. So keep training hard. And remember, Math Masters, in math, as in training, progress comes with patience and practice. I'll see you next time. Hey, hey.